I was walking under the freeway, so like in a, dark area, sort of dark. And there's these guys, they've set up a living room, basically an outdoor living room for the sofas, TV, everything. And they were like looking at me I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you guys smoke weed? Or I pulled out my bag. I said, you want to roll this? And instant friends. Okay. Oh my God. 10 of them.
Friends under a highway.
They didn't want to kill me. They just wanted to smoke my
He was
weed.
walking through that living room, so at least he could do.
Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk, make me putดังเลยความสุข Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk, make me putดังเลยความสุข Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk, make me putดังเลยความสุข Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk.
Bangkok, City of Legends.
Silence.
That's what you're going to get from introductions today.
What are we doing here? I don't know.
That was for your benefit and the audience at home. So, welcome to Bangkok City of Legends. Steve, why don't you introduce yourself? We barely know each other.
I'm from the US originally. I left the States around 7.5 years ago. Started in Mexico and ended up in Thailand. So I have 5 years in Mexico and then the last couple of years here in Thailand. I just turned 63.
Congratulations,
So
happy birthday.
thank you. I'm semi-retired, but try to stay busy. So I have a couple of projects I'm working on. One's a nonprofit and one's a for-profit. And, it gives me something to do because once I sold my business, I really didn't know what to do, I mean, I wasn't working anymore. I wasn't going to look for another job or anything like that. So yeah, it's given me something to spend my time on,
Yeah, it's a common issue for post-exit founders. It's like what to do next, especially if you're not ready for retirement. Yeah, people can get very bored and lose a sense of purpose. And feel a bit
Indeed,
lost.
yeah, and that's so important the older you get, I think, is to maintain a sense of purpose or meaning in your life, really, especially post-job. When we're working, we get a lot of our identity and our value or meaning in life from the work itself or from our family and so forth. But when those things change, as they inevitably do, you have to find something else to sustain you or,
Nice. So let's quickly talk about the differences then between like Mexico, you were in Sri Lanka for a bit, and here. So what do you like about Bangkok? What do you miss about those other places? What are the differences you've noticed?
Well, I'll just say that the Mexican people are so friendly, so warm and generous. And
Unlike
the Thai people.
Yeah, and the Thai people are also very warm and generous, and so from they're very inviting, welcoming. Cultures are very different, but I think that's a common trait is that they are just so genuine and friendly, and both countries are relatively affordable. I mean, they're both becoming more expensive in some ways as people, especially in Mexico. I think like Mexico City became overrun with nomads and so forth several years ago. And well, Thailand too, but there's a place for them in the condos, and then there's also richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor are more obvious in Mexico, whereas here you have people at all levels of wealth in society, or however you might put it.
Sort of living side by side. And famously, Bangkok, the house prices just refuse to go up because people just keep building.
Yeah, here I love Bangkok, and for me it's a wonderful place. I mean, I could live anywhere in the world, really. I mean, and I choose to live here. As I said, people are very friendly, but it's a very convenient city. I like to work out and eat really fresh food, and it's readily available here in abundance. I like to go around to different parts of the city. I can just grab a Grab scooter on my phone, and by the time if I call it here, by the time I'm on the street, they arrive. So everything just works well. I mean, of course, not everything. There's a lot of problems in this city, but
So it's a convenient place to spend money, I find. The industry is very well lubricated, taking money. I find it's a hard place to do business. So how has that experience been so far? You're setting up both businesses, right? The non-profit and the...
I wouldn't even try to start a Thai-based business just because of the regulatory complexity, needing to have a Thai partner, and then you're earning money in Thai baht, which is maybe not the best. So so the nonprofit I founded and I'm working on, and also the for-profit that I'm starting to build would both be based in the U.S. I can operate them here, but they would be registered in the state of Wyoming. Just for the convenience of it, I can just do it from here quickly, and I can still operate here, but it's not based here.
Yeah.
And what are the ventures that you're having
Right.
for our viewership?
Of course. Well, the nonprofit is the Bangkok Street Cat project,
Nice.
and when I moved here just a year ago, and so I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do here, and I love cats. I've been a fan of cats in all my life, but I can't really have cats here. The apartment doesn't allow it, and with my sort of, even though I'm not nomadic, I do travel a bit and have moved around from place to place. So owning a cat is a lifelong commitment, at least the length of their life, and so that's 10 to 15 years, and I've done that before. But in this case, so the last several years, during COVID, I was in Mexico. I went to the shelter. I fostered cats in my home. When I was in Chiang Mai, I fostered cats, and when I came here, I couldn't really figure out what to do cat-wise, but I discovered that Lumpini Park, one of the large parks here in the city, has a lot of strays that live there in the park. And so I started going there and just casually visiting. I started bringing food, and I thought, well, wait, I can't just bring a little bit of food. If I'm gonna feed them, I gotta do it properly. And so over time, I decided to make that my project. I'm gonna feed the cats every morning, as many as I can find, and I sort of made it into my morning routine, and I see the same 35 or 40 cats every morning, some new ones, some go, but and so the project, the nonprofit, is around that, trying to make it into something where maybe I'm not the only one going out there. Maybe I can have a few volunteers or even a helper who can, like an assistant, who can help me coordinate donations so I don't pay for all the food myself, that kind of thing. It's still pretty small scale. But it got me involved in the cat world here and started making me think of how I might be more effective. I'm not going to open a rescue or do some of that hard work. That's a real tough job to do. And I just wasn't really feeling like I could handle that. But I did come up with an idea and I'm working on it now, for a pet microchip ID and registry company. And so basically we would go to people's homes. And here in Thailand, I have a person I'm working with in Phuket, and then someone in the US. And we're going to train microchip techs to how to insert the microchip. It's not something you need a vet's license for or anything like that. It can be done by a trained person, and we can train them. And then we'll have customers. We'll have a funnel where we generate leads through ads or whatever, and so our techs will go to their homes and chip their cats, and they'll be on our registry, and then they'll be part of our family, and we'll be able to sell them other products related to sort of high-end cat services.
So I understand why Bill Gates wants to microchip people, but what are the benefits of microchipping your cat?
Oh, sure. Well, the most basic one is like a lost and found function.
Right.
So if you ever lose your cat sneaks out and gets lost, it's a way for them to be found. If a cat is picked up on the street, taken to a vet or a shelter, they can be scanned, and then the identification of the owner is then found in the registry if it's properly reported and so forth. We also would have a QR code collar. So if you don't have a scanner, because you need a special scanner, but a QR code could be read by anyone, and that would give a link to the registry where the personal information for the owners retained. So that's at one level. There's other benefits as well, but that would be the core benefit, is just a lost and found function.
Make them swallow a magnet and then
No, it's just it's like the size of a rice grain, and it gets inserted just in the back of the neck, under the skin. It doesn't hurt.
But that's a cool thing. Like, let me go back to the volunteer project, because I live close to Lumpini, and in my soy street, there is so many stray cats.
Yeah.
And like there's at least 4 they look Asian, like Thai people, I'm assuming, feeding them.
Yeah.
and I befriended one of them, and she speaks very well English. So I feel there's some kind of a subculture of like neighborhood people helping the cats. Do you feel that's the same? Like,
absolutely.
Do you know these kind of people? Is it like a community?
Well, you know, it's this has been one of the difficulties is that it is very Thai. There's Thai culture around that, but I don't speak Thai. It's a few words, of course, but nothing to communicate. I am friendly with some of the other feeders in the park, and we communicate through sign language and smiles, and I actually share food with them because sometimes they'll just come with a little bit for like 1 or 2 cats. I'll give them some extra. And my hope was and is that we can extend beyond Lumpini to, because there's a stray cat problem in Bangkok, just enormous. Hundreds of thousands of cats are estimated to live on the streets, and many of them are taken care of by locals, fed, and but it's and they gather too. Like you'll have colonies of cats that gather at the various temples or schools or places like markets where food is abundant, but so it would be great if I could be going out to these places and providing food on a regular basis and educating them about how to live with cats, you know, that they're not dogs, they don't respond to the same behaviors as you might, and how much do you feed them? If they're sick, what do you do? You know, basic things that could really help with cat population management. Because in a city like this, as much as I would love to see adoptions happening more frequently, it's just not feasible for a lot of people. Just can't have a cat in their apartment. So you go to where the cats are and you try to help them where they live rather than trying to change that, you know.
So this was a big thing for the earthquake because everyone sneaks pets into their apartment when the earthquake happened. There were just dogs and cats flooding out onto the street and a bunch of landlords being like, well, I'm appalled. This is not allowed.
Like in your coat, like, no, don't have cats.
Don't you do a set on a Bangkok Street
I have many jokes about cats. I don't know why, because I don't know. I never owned a cat, but I like them. So sometimes I go to the street and like feed them a little bit and then pet them. So I love them. But I don't know why cat jokes come, because they're so ubiquitous here. Ubiquitous. A word like this, very many cats here in Bangkok. So it's always and they're lovely creatures. But I wasn't aware that there's hundreds of thousands. I mean, I see them everywhere, but it's like it seems to be.
Yeah.
Is it that? How do you know how locals interact with them? Are they seen as a plague or like?
Well, Thais do have love for animals, and cats, I think, are beloved. And I see people who see me every day in the bar. I go very early. I go when the gates open at 4:30, and I see people who see me and they smile or they give me a thumbs up. They know, they see what I'm doing, even though I just sort of do it quietly. I'm not trying to attract attention, but I have a roller cart with, you know, a lot of food, and so they see me not just feeding the cats, but I spend time with each cat. If they'll let me, I'll pet them and give them some love and attention. And some of the sicker ones you have to be careful with because they have, like one right now has what looks like sporotrichosis, which is a terrible skin disease. It kills them, you know, but as long as it's there and I can help, I'll help, you know. But you have to be careful because you can actually contract not just that, but like ringworm and some other of the skin diseases that are communicable.
Maybe you have a double life on Thai social media, like the crazy cat Farang from Lumpini Park or something.
I'm behind the scenes kind of guy. Okay. I'm not in. This is rare.
But you're not on Thai social media. You don't know. You could be trending.
I'm not even on English social media. A little bit. But.
Yeah, it's interesting that Thai Buddhist culture has a strong preference for looking after animals, helping animals. It's considered very forbidden. Even eating meat is not done during like the Lent period, right?
But on every other day.
Well, you eat double to make up for the meat you missed out on the next month. But yeah, a lot of it is kind of for show. And there's this terrible thing where it's considered a good merit to release an animal. So there's this whole industry of people capturing animals for release.
And then capturing them again.
Yeah, okay. Of course. Why would you let all those animals go to waste when you're in the business of selling out animals for release? So it's the same way as Loy Krathong is meant to be thanking the water god for her blessings. And up until a few years ago, the way most of Thailand celebrated that was by putting styrofoam into the river. And now the new generation is starting to become more aware and so starting to see how can we actually genuinely help these animals. But I think the Thai relationship with dogs is very different from back home, right? One, dogs are much more wild. And when you see dogs in packs and dogs living outside, it's a very different life and a very different type of dogs. I've shown Thai people that you can train even the local street dogs to sit and obey basic commands, and they can't believe it. It blew their mind. They're like, "What? This is just a street dog?" And I'm like, "No, any dog can do this with just a bit of love and attention." And
Because I found that this is the most racist creatures on earth. It's Thai dogs, because like when Thai people walk like soy and the small alleys, the two Thai people walk by, as soon as I go,
that's what Thai dogs are for. Is just an alert for when a different race is in the neighbourhood. So yes, I've seen lots of volunteer work with dogs. There's the Soy Dog Foundation. They get animals even adopted, sent abroad, and then a big part of their work often is spaying, neutering the pets to stop sort of the growth.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a problem with cats.
It's a big problem. I see it in the park. A lot of baby kittens and mamas who are pregnant, and that's why spay or neutering cats is so important to break that cycle. You know, because they're just will make babies rapid.
You can hear them when cats are having sex.
I mean,
you'll know about it.
And they grow up very quickly. You know, in a couple of months they can start reproducing. You know, so it's important to try to get them fixed as soon as possible. And some people are doing that. It's interesting because a few weeks ago or a month ago, I was in the park doing my rounds, and I noticed, a couple of things. I noticed some cats that had like their ears tipped or clipped, you know, which is a sign that they've been fixed, and they had their belly shaved with a little tape on it. I'm like, okay, I guess someone's been doing some work here, because I didn't know. I just saw the evidence of, you know, some rescuers came in probably at night, got them, darted them, you know, they tranquilized them, and then they take them, they fix them, and then they release them back out in the park.
I thought it was a fashion choice because I saw a cat.
Yeah,
and I was like,
no. But and then there was a bunch of new cats, I think 7 or 8 that got dumped in the park. And they're so cute. They look like house cats. They're clean and lovely and gentle and.
Tell me this: some cats or many cats actually have short tails. Is that accidents, or I was told they were bred like this? Do you know about?
Well, there are Manx cats that have short or no tails, little stubby tails. But in this part of the world, you also see these weird shapes, like they look like they've been broken, and it's genetic. It's just have these weird shaped tails, and not the normal curly or smooth curl or curvy ones we're familiar with. So yeah. That's pretty common here. You also get the cats with like little stubby, because they do breeding here, which is a problem with dogs and cats. And so you get these weird hybrids where they'll breed two.
But not between cats and dogs, I hope.
I haven't seen that yet, but I have seen some weird cats with like little stumpy arms that just doesn't look right, you know.
And those are the ones that are likely to be dumped because they can't be sold. The last guys I interviewed were just talking about all the hookers they slept with, so this is a refreshing change. Might I say?
There's that too. I mean, I go running early before I go out to the park. I go for a run, so that would make it around 3:30 in the morning. And I know it sounds weird, but it's just how it is. And not too far. So my loop, I do a circuit. I don't have to go that way, but I end up on Soy 15 where. And business is booming at 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, really booming. Yeah.
Who gives you the donate? Do you buy food yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm buying it myself right now. I spend about $400 a month on food.
Okay.
You know.
We'll do a link in the show notes if anyone wants to.
Yeah. I do have a PayPal giving fund, so U.S. donations can be made through that. And then I also have I have a Thai bank account, my personal one, but I'm keeping that separate. So donations in Thai baht can be made to a local pet shop, Pink Paw, which I've gone in there and made a deal with them. I'll just buy all my food from them. Nice. And then I have a little placard their customers, if they want to contribute, they can buy some food too. So it's
Oh,
like an
that's good.
in-kind
Yeah, makes sense.
donation. Of course, nothing's happened with it, but it is in place. So
Yes.
ready to accept donations.
So you go running at 3:30, then feeding cats 4:30. When do you sleep?
Yeah,
Yeah.
before that.
Nice. So you said you don't drink, right?
No, I quit a few years ago.
So what does a man who doesn't drink do in Bangkok? I've never explored
Feed
that
cats,
side of
what
the
else?
city.
It's obvious.
Eat!
Yeah.
Run away from prostitutes. at 3 in the
Well,
morning.
yeah, no, right, run away from them. They cheer me on too. They're nice. So,
Crazy cat Farang, go 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 go!
yeah, well, I like going on long walks, seeing different places, doing some shopping. I smoke weed now and then, so I'll go to the lounges. There've been some changes recently, but I have some friends, so I'll just go and hang out in the weed lounge and with friends and get high and listen to music or joke around, whatever. And then come back and work on the project, or I don't know. That's the thing when you're retired, and sometimes you struggle with filling a day. I mean, I've taken up a number of hobbies, watercoloring and chess, and
But don't you find Bangkok a really dangerous city for like if you have to make your own hobbies, so to speak, and find your own activities if you don't have a job, for instance? And I feel like because there is so much entertainment, dodgy and non-dodgy available, don't you find like teasing or like?
No, I mean, I think my problem is I just like to be alone a lot. I mean, I enjoy my privacy, not privacy so much as just the peace of not having people yelling at you, and I don't go to clubs or drinking, so that's out. So yeah, I like a quieter life, but if you want activities, there's the Meetup app. There's like 25 things happening every night and day. Anything you're interested in, there's going to be a group for it. So if you like fine wine, if you like cats, if you like knitting, I mean, pickleball, anything hobby that you can think of, and if you want to do it with other people, there'll be a group for it.
Did you have friends before you came to Bangkok here already?
Most of my friends are like around the world, DC members, and
That's a Dynamite circle.
there are a few here, but I have to say that's been one of the tougher. And every time I move to a new city, I guess I'm surprised at how difficult it is to make new friends locally. So, that has been a struggle.
I think Bangkok's easier than, I can't compare it to too many cities, but just because there's always people arriving.
It's always a high turnover, right? So
Yeah.
you make someone lose some. That's sometimes quite
It
frustrating.
depends where you go to meet people. I mean, if you're
Yes.
into co-working and you want to meet, or you're a traveler and want to go to a hostel,
But if you're,
if you're a local and you want to
not
play
looking-
pickleball, I mean,
if you're not looking to spend your pension in a brothel, then
Yeah, right.
that rules out a lot of the people here.
But the thing is that let's not confuse the brothels with the legitimate massage places, which are abundant here.
Of
You
course.
can get a really nice foot massage, full body massage that's just impeccable service, no funny business whatsoever. So funny business is available throughout the city, but there's also, don't feel like you can't get a normal massage. You can. In fact, there's more of the normal auntie giving the massage than the hookers. So
It is frustrating, the bad rap that Bangkok gets, because a lot of people
it's a very
assume you're only here for one reason.
it's a very conservative city in some ways. It's flamboyant. It's pride. It takes pride in pride, but it's also very conservative, and people dress conservatively. They are deferential, polite,
quite modest, shy.
very modest.
The Thais.
Thai people.
Foreigners?
Yeah, foreigners. Not so much, right? Well, I try to adopt the.
I dress down for this.
Indeed, yeah.
Usually just wears a sock.
Mankini.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like you said the best thing about Bangkok is choose your own adventure. But I feel like if especially men, if you talk to them and who have been here for 6-7 years, there's something like you've seen that the city has taken its toll on them, so to speak. It's like because you can have this kind of, I go jogging to Lumpini at 3 a.m, I eat healthy food, I do pickleball, but there's also this kind of underbelly of like I can do this kind of more lurid activities, for instance, and then the alcohol and drugs are available 24/7 basically. So some people dive into that, and there's no judgment, but I feel like this is also something you.
It's okay to have a little judgment. No, I agree. I used to indulge in drinking, and I enjoy whatever things that people do. But I think once you have a certain maturity and self-awareness, and just for me, I like quitting drinking. For me, it just was part of the evolution of my life. I was on a diet to lose weight. It didn't fit with that lifestyle anymore, and I just stopped. It wasn't even a struggle. And it was a struggle for years when I was drinking and thought maybe I should quit. But then when I was like aligned with who I was now, I just stopped. And going to bars, I'm not interested. In fact, I have a rule for myself. I will go to a restaurant that serves alcohol. I'm not going to hang out in a bar that serves food. And I'm not going to, like last night, I was with some friends, and then the beers started coming, and I was out because I don't want to be around drunk people, and I don't want to be around drinking culture. It's just not me anymore, I used to love that shit.
I've noticed whatever the drug, if everyone's on it except for you, it's a very boring experience. And if you've ever been trapped in a room full of people on cocaine when you're not on cocaine,
that I wouldn't know.
It is torture.
Maybe I was there and didn't know it. Why are all these people so excited?
And all they talk about is how genius they are, and you're like, did you just keep talking about how genius you are? This is not a genius conversation, guys.
It's a tennis ball.
Cool. So, what are the sort of people then you meet in like Bangkok weed culture and the dispensaries?
Well, a lot of potheads.
Really?
but also some pretty good people too.
But what it means to be a pothead has changed, right? Like, because it used to be illegal and so it only attracted a certain type of person, but I suppose now it's legal.
Still not
has the
fully
culture
legal.
changed at all?
No, they've been cracking down. In fact, most of the lounges have been shut down in the last week or so, and they are definitely changing they're not
switching
changing
to medicinal status.
Well, it's always been regulated in a sense, but now they're putting in they're going to make you have to have a Thai doctor on site, and it has to be prescribed. There's going to be limits in the amount that can be prescribed and the duration of the prescription, and they wanted to close the lounge because that's recreational. Also, no distillates like hash or rosin or anything, just pure flower. Because Thai traditional medicine has a place for cannabis. It's part of Thai culture. And so they didn't want to say no, they want to be accepting of it, but they also realize that it's a thriving industry, a tourist attractor, and employs 10,000-20,000 people or something.
A lot of taxes.
Yeah, taxes and all that. So they don't want to shut it down, they just want to control it.
So I guess they're just going to get all of the C-grade doctors who can't get a job in the hospitals here, just sitting in a weed cafe in the corner.
It's a very cynical attitude.
Oh, I'm full of them.
You have cancer here, Mariana. No, but I'm not a legal expert, but I think it was never technically, THC was never legal. It was a CBD version of it, but they kept it unregulated. Now it's like with these kind of doctor shit, but it's always like...
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if they shut down all the lounges and dispensaries tomorrow, people would find weed, They
prostitution's illegal in this country.
Prostitution's illegal here too.
It's just a gift to organised crime, and very often the police.
Well, I don't know.
That's my favorite site is always, it's on Nana. There's like the walking, that's not the street, like where the cars drive. And there's a police tent. And he was like, "We safe of crime, blah, blah, blah." Sometimes at night, when we went to Raw, there was a policeman sleeping, like in the movies, with his police hat on his hat, like that. And there was like streetwalkers standing right next to him, like, "Hey, mister," like, no, he thinks they are doing like IT consulting. It's fantastic.
It's hard to get a freelancer these days.
So yeah, it's yeah.
So you must have met some characters though in your travels.
I've met a few people. I mean, I I live a state life here now, but I have traveled to some rough and tumble places, and I like to mix it up. I don't go on like the standard tours, you know. I just go for a long walk and see where it takes me, you know. And rough neighborhoods, that's cool. You know, even here, there are, I mean, as easygoing and safe. I mean, Bangkok is one of the safest cities in the world, but you know, if you wander deep enough into the neighborhoods, you'll find pockets of, you know, poor people, more or less. They're not more dangerous, but they look at you like, you know, you're a white guy. You know, I don't always wear jewelry, but even still, I look like I'm not poor, just because how I dress and how I look. But I also know how to interact with people, and I'm not, you know, like I'm just thinking of a time I was walking under the freeway, so like in a, you know, dark area, sort of dark, and there's these guys, they've set up a living room, basically an outdoor living room for the sofas, TV, everything, and they were like looking at me I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you guys smoke weed? Or I pulled out my bag, I said, you want to roll this? And instant friends. Okay. Oh my God. 10 of them.
Friends under a highway.
They didn't
bridge.
want to kill me, they just wanted to
Well,
smoke my
he was
weed.
walking through that living room, so at least he could do it.
Yeah, so anyway, maybe that's not legendary, but I think the point is that you create your experience to a large extent. I hear people complaining how it's so hot, it's so humid here. Yeah, it's Bangkok, you know, it's hot and humid. People complain about the traffic. I'm like, it's there. You can either get upset about it, or you can just say, well, you know.
No, but I agree with this assessment. Like, I mean, as a man, for instance, I feel extremely safe. Like, I remember, like, at the university where I'm lecturing, not I'm lecturing, but anyways, you can cut this, right?
In which part?
No, but like sometimes I go to the gym at the university, and like usually there are locker systems with QR codes, but because I'm a Farang, I can't use that. And sometimes people see me take my bag and put my headphones and my wallet in my bag, and then I work out for an hour, come back, everything is safe. I lived in France for 5 years. If I would put my headphone there, would bow down to tie my shoes, my backpack would be gone. So it's like
here. If you have
super safe.
you put a backpack on the ground or in a mall or something, either they come running after you, Mr. Or you come back 4 hours late. I will walk by 4 hours later and it's just sitting there, and everyone just says, it's not mine. Just leave it there. Let the person come back and find it, you know? And more often than not, I'll just see things just sitting there waiting for the owner to find it. Not always, but
And they're so proud of that in places like Dubai, but they managed it here without chopping anyone's hand off. It's incredible.
I prefer this version. No, but it's a good point, because like I like to take an edible, and when I'm on weed, I find everything 10 times more fascinating. And I look on the map and go like to some of these kind of areas where usually few tourists go. It's always beautiful, because yes, it's like I mean, the street cannot be too small for a motorbike to pass by. But it's like you wander these kind of districts and people look at you sometimes, but I never feel unsafe, because they look at me, but like, okay, Farang, and I explore. And so there are some pockets, not only skyrise and bling, but like local people living there, some nice parks, Chinese cemeteries, and all of this shit. I think Bangkok has a lot to offer besides this kind of gambling and hookers and stuff.
I mean, the top tip I've heard there is walking around Bangkok, and not enough people do it. It's going from, you know, air-conditioned hotel to air-conditioned shopping mall. And it's just not the real Bangkok at all. It's just it'd be like going to Disneyland and being like, yeah, I went to America, weird place.
it's part of the reality of Bangkok. It's not all of it, but the malls are a big part of it. So much takes place in the malls. It's more than just a shopping mall. Do your banking there, get your phone fixed there, do your insurance there, buy a car there. I mean, there's so many. You know, I go out to Chatuchak on the weekends and I spend the whole day there. Get a massage, do a little shopping, go in the mall for the air condition, you know.
That's the way, is to drop into the mall for a bit of a respite from the air.
Yeah.
But you know, you're doing things well, like the timing, I've realised, like, and you know, I accidentally found this because I have a son who's very young. So I'm suddenly, for the first time in my life, waking up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, oh, Bangkok's quite nice at this time. Like, it actually sucks if out drinking all night, you wake up at 11, you go outside and you're like, this is horrible. And it's like, that's the time you want to be taking a break from already done half your day. But yeah, just walking around is just a great way to see the city.
Even though it's not very walkable, I have to say.
Sure,
From
but
the
I
Europe.
find the tourist places are the least walkable because they've all been designed with like highways and skytrains in mind.
Some places are very narrow sidewalks and are unwalkable. Other places have been made super walkable, like Benchikitty Park, where they have these elevated walkways and hidden gardens in the malls. They'll have like a rest area that's beautifully landscaped. Lumpini Park is a beautiful walk. Out by Chatuchak, the Queen's Park or whatever it's called out there is enormous. It's like Central Park, and it's so well improved. It's beautiful areas with bridges and quiet, peaceful, and so yes. Not all of the city is walkable, but much of it is quite.
Parks are per definition almost walkable. I'm talking about the streets, like when you go from A to B. Sometimes can be a hassle.
Sometimes it can be. It can also be noisy and stinky. So
Jumping hurdles.
And very modern city in some ways. A lot of new development.
We can't end on this discussion of infrastructure. Has anyone got a wild story to end on?
Well, if you think about the engineering, infrastructure is wild. You wearing this shirt, you impress us with one of your stories.
The shirt does the talking for me.
He never touched a woman.
And the Disney add-on.
I don't know. What have you been up to recently?
A lot of beach house. Just summer holidays, right?
Cool, yeah.
Son's off school, so just going by the beach. I love it during rainy season. It's really funny. Like when you're on holiday, you see a cloud. You're like, oh, when you live here, you're like, awesome. I can walk around all day on the beach because the weather's terrible. This is brilliant. I'm not getting burnt after 5 minutes.
No, it's just in Chiang Mai. It's like 80% less fewer people. That's actually super nice. Yeah.
Are we getting antisocial in our old age?
Good question. Yes, definitely. No, I like when we all traveled a fair bit, right? And at least for me, when I was younger and I met some people like, oh, you're from Brazil, please tell me more. And then like, oh, you're from this country, please tell me more. And now I'm like, I've heard this story and that story. And I'm like, I know what, or just me, I don't know.
I'm done with the shallow connections, right? But I do like meeting people through an activity, getting to know people a bit deeper. That's fine.
So you don't notice an antisocial tendency?
I mean,
Tendency?
I'm tending that way, but I used to be a social monster. I used to be out 7 nights a week, right?
Okay.
so now this is me. This is me in my mellow face.
Oh, I see.
It's all relative. It's all comparative.
So your mom chased after you with an African hunting dog to calm you down?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Steve, any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with the people?
No, well, if you're interested in cats, you can find me at BangkokStreetCats.org, Bangkok Street Cat Project, or DCPKK. I signed up for that, so I'll be attending that this year in October. If you're passing through Bangkok, ping me if you want to go and smoke some weed and talk about cats.
Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk.
Cheers.
Make me
Thank you.
ดังเลยความสุข Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk. Make me put ดังเลยความสุข Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk. Make me put ดังเลยความสุข Hop up in the city in a tuk-tuk. ครูบอกว่าผมซนนะครับ Whipping down the city in a new style whip